All right, there we go. Hello, hello. John S. Rhodes here of the Rhodes Brothers, and this is Greater Wealth Through Mastery. The topic of today's short talk is what is it like to be a YouTuber? I'm going to keep this very short, and the reason I'm doing this is because I've had several people ask me about the video creation process, also about scripting, also things about what it's done for me. So I'm going to address this in a few different ways. The very, very first thing is you have to start with that first video. And the very, very first video that I created, quite frankly, I don't remember. I've done so many videos at this point in time, and I've done so much on camera for years. I've done a lot of voiceover work for webinars. I've shown my face many different times in videos, in webinars, in sales videos. So it's somewhat natural for me to be in front of a camera and looking into the camera and looking into your eyes. So there is something of an advantage. Now, a related advantage is I really don't have much trouble at all just talking about a topic, coming up with things off the top of my head, perhaps looking at some bullet points and then elaborating on those. I've also done quite a bit of teaching and training over the years, and I've done that at community colleges. I've done that online programs. I've done that for our own courses and our own classes. And I could go on and on about this. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up is not that I have some experience or that I brought experience to the table related to YouTube directly. What's far, far more important and what you should pay very close attention to is that there's no doubt that you have skills, you have experience, you have something that you can bring to the table. And I wouldn't be surprised if in a very short period of time, you were creating videos far superior to mine. And the reason for that is you might have certain editing skills, you might have far more charisma, you might have a stronger, more dominant voice, you might be more feminine and caring, and you might have a way of looking at people. You might be far better looking. That wouldn't be too difficult. You might dress differently. You might do something that's just so unique and so different that no matter what kind of experience I have, it's going to be different than the experience you have, and you might get this great advantage. We all have these little levers in life that allow us to create value, that allow us to help other people, that truly create value for other people. So the real lesson here is that you have what it takes to begin a YouTube channel. The problem is that your expectations may or may not line up with what you have pictured in your mind. It's like the author who spends days, weeks, months, years of their life, right, sitting there and they're just typing away, and they expect that they're writing the next great American novel, and that when that book is published, they're going to get hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of sales, and they're going to, be covered in loads of money raining from the sky, right? Just drowning them in cash. And the reality is that's very, very unlikely with a book or even books. And that's also very unlikely as well with YouTube and a single YouTube video. Now, I've mentioned this a few times, but I've said to my brother right from the get-go that we need to do a minimum of 100 videos before we even establish a baseline. And if you think about this, it's like, whoa, wait. So if you imagine for a moment that every video is on average 15 minutes and we have to do 100 videos, well, 15 minutes and 100 videos, that's like 25 hours of video production. And that's before any editing, any uploading, any keywords, any titles, any hashtags, anything. Down in the description below, which I strongly recommend you take a look at, especially there's a free PDF down in the description, the 7 secrets of self-made millionaires. So down in the description, you should see that. But my point is I have to remember to say that. And maybe I have to edit that in. Maybe I need to work extra hard in addition on the thumbnail. And again, all of these things are pretty incredible when you think about it. So being a YouTuber doesn't mean, this is a second point, it does not mean that you just jump on camera and that you start talking. There's everything from the preparation work to, are you going to use a teleprompter or bullet points or speak off the top of your head? What kind of editor or editing are you going to do? Is it going to be you? Are you going to be using certain software? Are you going to be using a freelancer? Are you going to hire someone on staff? So all of these things have to happen either before or after you've shot your video, but it almost doesn't matter. You're going to have to put in work ahead of time or after the fact, and that's just the way it is. I mean, even the act of uploading a video, which for the most part my brother handles at this point, but we have other people that are doing other things to make this YouTube video and make the YouTube channel for the Rhodes Brothers get traction, be seen, and show up. One of the things I will say is that where you find enjoyment, keep poking at those things when it comes to YouTube. And I'll tell you, at this point in time, as I'm shooting this video, one of the things that I do enjoy doing, because it's just ridiculous and fun, is I will go through the video from beginning until the end, or even start at the end and work backwards, and I'll look for, the most ridiculous face that I'm making, like, right? I'll look for that in the video, and maybe that's what ends up in the thumbnail for the types of thumbnails that we've been doing. But I just want to emphasize that, because what you're passionate about might not show up until you're in the production factory, right? You're going to build, whether you like it or not. You probably don't like it, and hearing this is like, whoa, is you're going to be building a production factory. You're going to do it no matter what, because you are going to shoot the video or have the video, create the video, produce the video, whatever it is, however you want to think about that. The video has been created, and then you have to do things like edit, tweak, and tune that video, maybe. You then have to get it uploaded. You have to get a description written, or you should, the title, and what kind of title. Are you going to make it more keyword oriented? Are you going to make it shocking? Is it going to be kind of salesy? Is it going to be something that's modeled on other successful videos? By the way, if you're interested in this topic and how we decide on the YouTube video titles that we come up with and our description and some other things, but basically, if you want to know how we come up with our YouTube ideas and, very importantly, the YouTube titles, let me know in the comments below, and I'd be happy to shoot a video on that very specific topic. But the point is that you will have a factory. You will have a production process. The very first time you do it, it's going to be messy. It's going to be horrible. It will not be what you want. And the more you dwell on that, the more that you focus on the negative aspect of doing the first video, the slower you're going to be and the longer it's going to take for you to get that first video out there. And I'm going to tell you, no one's going to care about that first video. Very, very, very few people are lucky enough to have one of their first 5, 10 videos get any traction. We happen to actually have a video that I think it garnered something like 1,400 views in a matter of, I don't know, maybe 24 hours or so. And that was like video number 5 or 7 or something. But that's pretty rare based on all of my research and everything that I've looked at. It is a matter of production. So you have to be ready. So this is like the third point. You have to be ready to revise and refine and build and then go back to the beginning and revise and refine and rebuild as you go, because it's a process about refining the process. Let me say that again. You need to understand that from the get-go, you have a process. You need to document that process or know it. I would document it. You don't have to, but I would. You've got a process, and then you need a process for refining the process. In other words, you're going to look at that process that you've got documented and you're going to say, well, should I be doing more of this? Should I outsource this? Can I use software for this? Can I be standard in what I say and what I do? Let me give you a great example of that. I always say, well, almost always I say, hi, this is John S. Rhodes of the Rhodes Brothers. Sometimes I say that later in the video, but I always try to say, hi, this is John S. Rhodes of the Rhodes Brothers. And I often mention my brother Matt Rhodes as well, sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. The other thing that I do is I say, this is greater wealth through mastery, greater wealth through mastery. That's sort of the name of the video production that we're doing. That's the inspiration, right? We want more mastery, self-mastery, because we believe, right? This is part of the passion, it's part of the energy, it's part of what we think works, what we've seen work. Greater wealth through mastery, greater wealth, more money through mastery, and especially self-mastery. And there's many different ways to achieve self-mastery. It could be financial, it could be health, it could be relationships. I would really go after all of those, of course. But again, you need to be thinking about a process for updating the process. There's nothing as awesome and wild as seeing something start at zero, start with nothing, and then over time, what happens is that gets better literally because you're making 1 and 2 and 3% little tweaks and changes, and then that compounds. Now you can also get radical leaps, radical shifts forward by doing things like investing extra money, working with a coach, and downloading even free tools and free information like our free PDF below, the 7 secrets of self-made millionaires. Like, what are millionaires actually doing? And if you think and see and understand through the eyes of self-made millionaires, you can probably apply that to the process that you're using to create your YouTube videos. You see? So if you have a greater or higher awareness of what generates wealth or what wealthy people are doing, to be thinking about greater wealth, you can probably apply that directly to the process of creating better YouTube videos. And this is very interesting. You start putting these pieces together and great things start to happen. So what is it like to be a YouTuber? Let me tell you something else as well. I have to at least a little bit think about the t-shirts I'm wearing. I have to think about, do I have like dirt and scum on my face? Is my hair kind of combed? Do I look totally ridiculous? That's a matter of the brand. It's a matter of me looking back in time. And I know I'm going to do this. I'm going to look back and go, all right, well, there's a fuzz on my shirt. That's annoying. And I don't want that kind of annoyance. So I try to go through the same process every time leading up to coming down into the studio, turning the lights on, checking out how there's like maybe blue over here and yellow, red over here. I'm just trying to make sure it's the same, the same, the same. And why do I do that? This is really like a fourth secret. It's because related to the process, by preparing myself and preparing my mind and preparing the tools and preparing the environment, it's going to make it that much faster and easier for me to create videos exactly like this one. Whether I edit it or not, or we hand it off to an editor, is absolutely irrelevant. What matters is I've done all of these things that I can do, and it's just very simple, very straightforward. And the more that you do the prep work the same way and improve the preparation as you go, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5%, little tweaks and changes over time, the better off you're going to be for when you actually shoot the video. When you hit the record button on the camera. Okay, so that is very, very useful, having an environment set up. And I might even call this the fifth step, is that you have a dedicated place and maybe a dedicated time or time frame for shooting your video, because then you don't have to think about those things. There's no worry, no fuss, and no fuss, no mess. You can just start shooting the video and you're good to go, versus like, oh, I got to do this, and oh, what did I do last time? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? No, all the preliminary work is done, 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 and you can do the exact same thing. Another thing is that being a YouTuber, something of a influencer, and being more of a little tiny itty bitty celebrity, is that people start referencing the videos and the body of work. And you don't always know what people are going to reference. Let's say you have, like we do, 50, 60 videos, and you're like, wait, which video? Oh, yeah. So you'll find that people are attracted to you for different reasons based on different videos that they've watched of yours. Now, in another video, you can find great information about the YouTube back catalog that you'll be developing over time. And that's something you can plan ahead for, where you shoot video after video after video, and then suddenly you have this body of work. You have a back catalog that you can reference, that you can tap into. And I think you've probably noticed that if this is not the very first video you've ever watched, you'll know that the Rhodes Brothers, this channel, has a ton of other awesome video content, a ton. And you might want to go back and take a look at that, look and see what is going to resonate the most with you, or if I directly reference it. Like, there's a YouTube video I think is really, really important for a lot of people. It's basically, how do you get through dark times? Anytime there's stress and there's pressure, or there's something negative going on in your life, you could go back to that video and find out exactly how to get through the really, really rough times, the dark times. There's always negativity in the world, and so on and so forth. But the reason I bring it up is that there is a back catalog that other people will occasionally hit months and years, in fact, after you've shot that video. They're going to see that video and they're going to use it as a reference point. I like to have the back catalog for my own sake, because then I can reference other videos and I don't have to answer certain things like, well, how would you handle, oncoming anxiety and depression? How would you handle dark times? However you want to label that or define that. And I'd say, like, well, I shot a video on exactly how to handle that. And in fact, there have been a few times where I've gone back and watched some of my own videos like, that's right. I will also tell you, this is like a sixth idea or sixth concept. And what it comes down to, it's very simple actually, is that you will start to understand yourself more. You'll start to understand your guiding principles, not just in terms of what you thought you knew, but literally you find yourself saying the same kinds of things over and over. And you're like, wow, what better way to know myself than to hear myself and to see myself? Very few people like the sound of their own voice. Now, that's sort of a cliche, like, oh, I love the sound of my own voice. Well, most people don't actually like the actual sound of their voice, right? They don't like that. You get over that. You do, trust me. And what I'm really getting at here is that when you're watching old videos of yourself, or even recently old videos, previous videos, we'll call them, you'll notice that you are saying the same things. You're repeating yourself, and your principles start to truly come through. You start to understand the actual value that you're providing to other people. It's like, whoa, that resonated. And because YouTube is YouTube, you're able to actually see when people drop off. You can see when interest increases. You can see what percentage of a video people are watching, and so on and so forth. And I got to tell you, most people by this point in time in a video, for where we're at in most of our videos, most people have dropped off. But because you're here, you're getting extra juice, extra love, extra attention, extra knowledge, because you are here. So brilliant move being with us right here, right now. So does this line up with your experience? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you believe that someone would really benefit from the value of this video specifically, share it. By all means, it helps a lot. But most importantly, today, I strongly ask, very strongly ask, this is a call to action, very strongly ask that you hit that subscribe button. It really does matter to the algorithm. It matters to me as well. And if you'd like to leave a comment, that'd be fantastic as well. Now, I've mentioned a PDF that's free below. I strongly encourage you to get it. It is, again, a free PDF, The 7 Secrets of Self-Made Millionaires. It's down in the description below. I will also point out, if you're still here, bless your heart, is that in the next video, you can see exactly how those secrets of self-made millionaires, how it plays out. You'll actually see it. You'll be tuned in to money making, although it might not makes sense at first. So watch that video and then it will click because you've got that free PDF as a reference. All right, this is John S. Rhodes of the Rhodes Brothers, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.